Hello, horror heads, and welcome back to the Graveyard Shift Horror with Sheldon and Mike with our coverage of Zombie. Last time we left you guys hanging a little bit because when we recorded this episode, it went way too long, and we needed to give you some time to ingest part one. But now we're bringing part two for you, so you guys can finish this one off. It went long because we had a guest on. Like, you guys listened to part one, so you know. But Robert Christopher was on with us, and we were just having a blast chatting with him, and everything just kind of got away from us. But at the end, we thought, even though we edited it down quite a bit, there was just so much that we didn't want to just delete. So we decided to split it into two parts. It was actually Mike's idea. Mike's joining me right now, by the way.
Hey.
And yeah, Mike, didn't we really did have a good time with this one, right?
Oh, we had like 4 hours of gut-busting fun. Like, I felt like I did a full workout because my abs were on fire by the time I was done with this guy. He had stories and jokes and just a personality.
Yeah, even before we started actually recording the episode, we were chatting for the longest time, and we were just in knots because it was just hilarious. Everything he says, he's the type of person that even when he's not actually saying anything in particular, like that's particularly funny, the way he says it, the way he brings things across is just hilarious. He's just the type of person that always steals the conversation because he's just got a manner of speaking that it just draws you in. And yeah, it was great, but like I said, it was just too much. While we did have a great time, it was an editing nightmare for Mike.
I feel like I know how a trucker feels now.
He spent the better part of his weekend editing. It's just trying to, because he had to listen to the whole thing to decide what we're going to keep, what we're going to cut out. And yeah, I didn't envy his job this weekend, but we got it done. And if you do want to hear the whole thing, we do have it as a Patreon exclusive. So for Patreon sponsors that are listening to this, you can actually, if you're brave enough, take on the entire thing in our Patreon exclusive section, so you can have a listen right there. But for you guys, if you guys that are regular listeners that support us just by listening to us each week, we've got the refined version right here. Still quite long, but that's the reason why we broke it into two parts, just so that you guys have time to recover from part one. So with all that being said, please enjoy part two of What's in Your Head? Our coverage...
In your head.
I knew you were going to do that. Our coverage of Zombie. So, enjoy.
Have either of you seen Breaking Bad?
Yes, big Breaking Bad geek.
Yeah, there was one zombie when we get to see, like, when the boat lands or docks or whatever they do, we get to see the zombie I call Mr. Fring, who, like, half of him is fine, and then the other half is all decayed and rotted and maggot filled.
Oh, okay. I think I know the one. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like when the boat first lands, and then you get like your first shot of like an island zombie. He's the first one there.
No, you got me stumped on that one. I don't remember.
Gonna have to send the
and I just watched it.
I think I know the one. So yeah, anyone else want to bring up something in particular that really stood out to you? Something that you really liked about this?
When I just got one note here. Mr. West, back up in your skull with a crucifixion. Because he takes a cross from a gravestone and just lays the smackdown on a zombie. And then there was another one. I sent you the zombie. It's a girl who's wall-eyed.
Yeah.
And I just named her Derp Zombie.
Yeah, that was a good one. Well, I just want to say, because I had on my list of likes just the zombies in general. Man, I love these zombies.
Yes.
They look great. They look like the ones that were freshly dead looked like just recently deceased people. Not like some of these movies that you see where somebody just died and then they pop up and they already look like they're going through some kind of decay. These actually, the recently deceased ones looked fresh. The ones coming out of the ground look like what a body would look like if it had been buried for quite some time. The no eyeballs, just like filled with maggots and worms and stuff. And what I liked about them, like these were a good mix because until George Romero released Night of the Living Dead, what we saw as zombies were always like the Haitian voodoo type zombies, not even necessarily like a deceased reanimated corpse, just somebody that was under the influence of mind control.
It's like White Zombie, like the actual
exactly,
movie White Zombie. Yeah.
Just like that. And then of course Romero put out Night of the Living Dead and changed the zombie game. But these were kind of a combination. They kind of like reminded me of a combination of both. They were the reanimated corpses, just shambling, shuffling, but they walk with eyes closed, arms at their side until they until they were right on somebody and attack them. Just freaking great. Like, and they haven't been done in that way since, not to my knowledge anyway. Like, I haven't seen, I'm sure, every zombie movie, and I haven't seen the sequels to this one, but very unique, and I just loved it. When I watched it again over this weekend, just reminded me of how much I love these zombies.
Yeah, and that's why I call them, or if I'm gonna discuss about zombies, I always refer to them as the Fulci zombies because of how unique. Well, not really unique, but the well, it is unique because nobody really followed it. Like the way they follow the trend today is everybody's I don't know, a rabid animal. I hate the rabbit. I hate the rabid animal. I hate that they growl or what, I don't like I don't know what you even call it, the stuff. That's,
it's just like the feral or the rabid animal.
The rabid it's like rabid animal thing. I like that they were a brooding mass with nobody acting. Like they would it felt as if the dead were really coming back to life.
Yeah.
There was no even when the zombie bit her neck, he didn't like pose for his minute. Like nobody was worried about FaceTime or worried about like, oh, I need an extra minute of screen time because I'm the lead zombie. There's no lead zombie. There's no bees. There's just zombies.
Yep.
And it hits the right note. It hits the right tone. To me, that's the way it should be. The brooding mass, not okay. Let me flip my hair and have the, or when they move their eyes. I like that their eyes were closed.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's only a few zombies that had their eyes open in this one.
Yeah, very few.
For the most part, like yes, like you said earlier, some of them didn't even have eyes. They just had like the mass of like, bugs and worms and stuff.
One of them, like Fritz, he should have had eyes, except his eyes were closed. And when he bites into the doctor, he's just got this look on his feeling like he found the sweetest meat in that cheekbone. Like you look at his face, and he looks like his eyes are rolling back in just euphoria, like he's coming. He is just. He's just got that look in his face when he's like,
and I'm sure that they used real fire for the Molotov cocktails at the end.
Oh yeah, I hope those were trained stunt guys playing those zombies. There was some like pretty close proximity explosions going on there.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I mean, just as a practical matter of having just the fumes with fire around,
these guys didn't break, and these zombies, those like marching zombies, didn't break character.
No, I was like,
they better be stuntmen, or else this guy's a criminal.
But that's what makes it. But that's what makes the element of fire gives you a feeling. It gives you an emotion because you're watching it and you're going, wow, this is real. You can't. This is not CGI. This isn't. What is that movie? You ever see the movie The Transporter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it. A car goes off a parking garage and crashes into a helicopter, and it bursts into flames, and then no debris. I was like, are you kidding me? So give them props.
The blades were going so fast it chopped up all of the car.
Oh come on! give them credit for using real fire and having real danger, because it probably was kind of really dangerous to get that shot, and at night It's a night shoot.
Ugh.
So you got you got everything you can want. You got zombies, fire, boobs, and then an overall package and a great score.
Mm-hmm.
And you, what else could you ask for?
No, that's it. And that sounds like a good note too to end off our likes list.
Yes.
I think we've gushed over this one quite enough. So let's
And
get into something that's probably going to be a much shorter segment, but a much more difficult one. Let's talk about some things we didn't like about this.
I know where Mike's going, and I'm going to agree with him. And I will shut up too. I'll let him go on.
Well, Mike,
You
there's your invite. Go for it.
This is your
buddy.
invite to ramble.
The one thing I didn't like was the doctor himself, because he reminded me too much of Delamore Delamorte. He just shoots these fucking zombies when they revive, rather than just easily stabbing them while they're incubating.
Yeah.
Like, wasting bullets constantly.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's
You
a
got to
good point.
conserve
He's
the bullets.
Quite aware of what happens, so just take care of it beforehand.
It's like, oh, well, he died. Well, get the axe, I'm going to take his head off. Done.
Delamorte, is it that Cemetery Man?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh,
Yep.
wow, yep. I didn't like that movie. I remember, I think I have to rewatch it because I think I was expecting something else.
Yeah, it's
Just watch it till the boob scene.
I
and
saw
then
the boob
listen
scene.
to our podcast.
No, I'm not anti-boobs. I think it wasn't it a comedy? Didn't it really turn out to be a comedy?
There
there's
was,
some
like, some
comedic
sort of-
elements, some
Yeah, that's what I mean.
intentional.
It's
Yeah.
like some philosophical comedy with
Yeah.
zombies.
It was like, yeah,
There-
that's what I mean. It was like weird. It
It's
was
like
undefinable.
It's almost like a zombie art project in some places, like a film school art project. And sometimes it does have some comedy elements. Like I said, some intentional, some not.
Yeah.
But
I think he was lucky to get that Italian model to be naked, and he probably figured, you know what, that's good enough.
that people will watch it just for that because my
people
god,
get
that woman is just insanely beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
Like just ridiculously.
She was born to be naked.
Yeah.
All right, let's not be misogynist now. Let's just appreciate the boobs.
Well, what else does she contribute besides that in the
I
movie?
know that's true. I don't remember it that well.
It's
I
not
just
misogyny if it's true.
and didn't he have like a sidekick guy in the cemetery?
Yeah.
Yeah, like Uncle Fester with a
Yeah,
concussion.
it's bad. Ugh.
I hated that guy. That guy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
guy, like,
combination
really
between Uncle
annoyed me.
Fester and Hodor.
That was not good.
Yeah.
But
So
this movie is good. The one we're talking
This
about.
one is good. So all I'm going to say about it, and I kind of feel bad talking about this because we've already brought it up, and in a way I like this part, in another way it bothered me a little, and it's just the way that people reacted to the zombies, like the whole standing in one place and screaming, and not even screaming, sometimes just being stunned, because in one way I'm watching it and I'm like, oh my god, run! Why are you standing there?
Yes.
Run!
You have avenues of escape. Use them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in another way,
Well-
I'm like, no, that might be the way someone's going to happen when they can't really comprehend what's going on. They freeze up. So I don't know if I really didn't like that part or not.
If it was their first time encountering this, then that would make sense. But he's explained what's going on, and they've seen what's going on. The shock is gone, so they don't have that excuse.
Yeah, because take for
Yeah.
instance, Susan, right? Like the topless skin diver.
And mechanic.
She yeah, like the zombie that gets her, that bites her, like he comes up from the ground right in front of her and ends up killing her.
She watched
that's-
him.
She froze there and watched him come from the ground and eventually just attack her. And that's not the first zombie they encountered. I mean, they were face to face with a couple of them in the house earlier.
Yeah, she could have got behind him and kicked him in the head.
And made her neck like readily available to be bitten.
Yeah.
No holding the arms back or nothing.
Nothing. She was like almost let me pull my hair back. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Take a nice bite. Take a good chunk.
And
Yeah,
then
I
it was
agree.
the,
I agree. I agree. There's two times in the movie where her and the guy just when he sees her come back as a zombie,
yes.
he also freezes and he's like, duh, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Yeah, and the nurse too in the
Oh, I
hospital.
hated
Yes,
the nurse.
yes. Oh,
Yeah, she was the same thing. She's just like stood there and screamed while.
yeah. Yeah, it started. You know what? I think it started at the end, towards the end. It started to snowball where, I don't know if he could keep track of the zombie, like how quick they were gonna turn. If you noticed, when they were in the whatever the hospital barn. I don't know.
Yeah.
It looked like
Yeah,
a barn.
the black assistant.
Yeah, the assistant, and then it started to like really get. It started to get like a little out of control. So I think there's a little negativity there, but they all essentially all the main characters escape, and like you said, you're right. He gets. Why was he getting shocked? Like standing there. I mean, it maybe is his love of his life. You want to. It's like the Train to Busan. You want to say he's dreaming and wishes that she was alive again or something. I don't know why he just stood there and let her bite him.
Yeah,
But
I may be an asshole, but even if there's this girl that I absolutely love, if she gets bitten and she becomes a threat, I'll kill her right away, and then I'll grieve later.
yeah,
Like, I'm not a
Yes.
monster, but
Yeah.
I will not let her be a threat to me or any other living people. Like, I love you, but I'll cry for you afterwards.
And did he
Yeah.
not have a gun in his hand?
He
Yeah.
did. Yep.
He did. So this goes.
Pointless.
Wait a minute. We have something that goes in the WTF file.
Oh, well, we haven't got there yet, but
Oh no, we haven't got there yet. Oh, sorry. Well, that for me, that's put that one in the WTF file because
Hey,
you
can
have the
break
gun.
into the WTF file whenever you like. That's fine.
You have a gun, and I can understand like the woman, but before she gets bit, she could be the shocked woman. Though 99% of the movie, she's not the typical.
yeah, she's not stupid. And
She's not stupid, but we give her. Everybody has a moment of has this. We'll call it have their senior moment. So let's just say she got flummoxed, and
they could have killed her.
I know they could have done it better.
They could
I
have
agree.
killed her better.
Yes,
As soon as
I
they
know.
go into the house,
That's a
they
negative.
get surrounded. She could be the one that like opens the door so they could get out, and then when everyone else
Yep.
leaves, she gets pulled in, and then that's the last we see of her until she shows up at the end. That would be a way to kill her, to make her death make sense, have some valor to it, and not be
Yes.
completely her fault for being
Yep.
stupid.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree.
But
Okay.
yeah, another thing I didn't like was the fourth wall breaking, like when they have the interview with the daughter and the cops, and everyone's looking at the camera, and I'm like, and it's not just like cutting to the camera. The camera's like turning around
Yeah.
to each and
Yes.
every one of them, and I'm like, this is not adding to the movie. And then there was like some shitty dub during the coroner scene, where the guy,
Oh, yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
have you already examined him?
Yeah, yeah. The ADR for this one was pretty horrendous throughout. But I mean, that's not something uncommon for a foreign film. But yeah, even some of even some of the scenes that were recorded in English that were ADR'd afterwards, and this one in particular, yeah, was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh,
But
yeah, when-
give him props for being a good zombie on the table or a good corpse on the table.
Yeah,
And then there was when we see the like the finger twitch under the sheet, the lighting, it's like they turned the lights on in the morgue for some reason in the last 2 seconds. It's like the lights just came on and it got bright. And it didn't add anything to the scene. It was just distracting. Like they were filming the scene and halfway through they're just like, "Oh shit, can you turn on the lights?" And they didn't like recut it. And then on the dock, it got like, I don't know if this was like a shitty version I saw, but it got dark when they were walking on the dock and they met Caramel Nibbles and Barry Gibb. When they were walking on the dock, it just got dark. Even though, like, this isn't like a cut to a different part of day. They're walking on the dock and it instantly got darker. Did that happen with your versions? Like the lighting just aggressively changed?
I didn't notice that, so maybe it was just the
Me
version you
neither.
saw.
Yeah, maybe just the version you saw, for sure. But no, I agree with you with the. Well, at that you got to remember at that time, we didn't. That was a pre-CSI world, so really, you could have shot an autopsy scene however you wanted it. To who would know? Because
Yeah, that's right.
we were societally we were completely different. So,
Yeah, I didn't like that the guy kept talking down to the assistant who was black. I'm just like, Is he doing this because he's black, or are they trying to portray like the black guy as incompetent? Because he kept like chiding him, like there was attitude in everything he said to him.
It it, it wasn't. Was 1980.
Or just
it was
bad
a little.
ADR.
No, I agree. There's a little bit of that. Maybe it's just a New York attitude. Okay. Maybe he's like, you know what, do your job.
If he's just a guy that's an idiot and has nothing to
Yeah.
do with his skin, then that's great. You know, the morgue scene could have been better. Like, again, like they got the body. Like, usually in a morgue, like, they would have, at least in like TV shows, they've got like the blanket halfway down, so you can see like a Y cut and.
Whoa,
it's just like
whoa,
this-
bro! We're talking about Quincy era, where Quincy had gloves touching the body, and there's not a drop of blood. Come on.
All right, I was
Okay.
only conceived in the 70s. I didn't
Okay.
I didn't intake any media back then.
It's not like I went to the morgue as a kid, but I'm just saying that I'll use television as my barometer. That that was not put on TV. You didn't see that. You only saw that kind of stuff in horror movies, and very little, like what we saw, just the scene. He probably just did an exterior shot. He didn't. He probably couldn't get inside. That was probably in a I don't know where, in a studio. But that is the real morgue. It is the real New York City morgue.
Oh yeah.
That exterior is legit.
The filming work was great, except for just one scene, and that's during the attack on the woman, which is like a great scene, but it's also got like an egregious sin, and that is where she's like closing the door, and then we see the camera pans to the right of the door, so during all this we just get to see wall.
Wow, Mike, you are really insightful. You watch very deeply.
It was like 15 to 20 straight seconds of the wall while we're hearing her struggling to close the door and the zombie struggling to open it, but we're not seeing any of it except like out of the leftmost frame. And I'm like, did the cameraman like drop something and pick it up and continue filming?
I don't know, but I gotta give you this point. You gotta take a deep breath, okay? You gotta come off the Adderall, okay? Because wow, you're like really, really observant. You're very efficient. Like you should work in these. You should like email studios to tell them what's wrong with their movies, because you could spot stuff from font.
Yeah, I'm sure all the studios appreciate that.
No, I know, but I'm just saying that if you ever needed someone to go, hey, listen, watch this film, tell me what's wrong. He could tell you that, like, you used a bar of ivory soap. Now change it back.
When his character strictly said they used dial because the other
Yeah, there you go. It's like you're like they have those kind of people on set, the continuity people. You would be perfect for that.
But this wasn't a continuity error. It's like the cameraman fell asleep. It's like he dozed off and then and then he refocused on her.
Listen, if you were on an island and you had a beautiful model there, maybe he got a little lucky there. Maybe that next day his knees were a little weak, and that's why the shot wasn't so good. I don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, maybe he was like cranking it, and then then he's like, oh
No,
shit.
come on, give him credit for that. Come on, he was a grown man. Give him credit. Maybe he actually could talk to a woman, not cranking it, not rubbing one out. Give him some credit. You don't know that what could have happened. Maybe they were drinking. You got to remember the European style. They're like, I didn't notice when I was that little, but they're not afraid of being naked or enjoying wine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it was an American. So you're saying it was an American cameraman on that scene who was distracted by all the hot,
Could be
olive-skinned ladies walking
Could be.
around.
Could be. I'm saying just give him some credit. Maybe when Lucio Fulci said cut, maybe he said, hey, maybe we could enjoy each other's company. I don't know.
You looked really good in that shower.
Yeah.
I like that. like we didn't get to see the zombie, just the arm. So it's like Dr. Krabappel's renegade arm from Frankenstein, the true story, where he's just got that decaying arm that he just like kept locked away. And then when the boat was busted, it's like they're shooting flares during the day. It's like really, it's like a red white flare on a clear white sky. Great work.
Wow.
And then the dad, when we finally get to see the dad, he's like the love child of Boris Karloff and Albert Einstein.
Yeah, okay, I get that. I had to stop
Yeah.
and think about it for a second. But yeah, that's actually pretty good.
But there was a problem I had where they're just like 8 miles and nothing. We should turn back. Is that it? And it's like, oh shit, the building in a clearing that we're right in front of. So that's where this house was hidden.
I actually like that scene where they go into the house and the zombies are eating the woman, and they totally ignored the people. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't instantly go, okay, you know, like the zombies already were getting what they needed, whatever their nourishment or whatever, however you want to coin the phrase.
Oh, they were like meth heads in a K-hole.
Yeah,
Yep.
but then the people the main characters were standing there, and the zombies just could care less. That's what I liked about it, because they were like, okay, we're already getting the nourishment. We don't need a reason to get up, like,
Yeah.
and train to Busan, like
I'll go after
that
you
scene.
later.
No, that scene where he throws his iPhone, and then all of a sudden the zombies go right past him. You know, because all of a sudden now sound is like the big thing to move a whole horde of zombies from one side. Come on, ridiculous.
And
Give me my
that's a good
Fulci
point.
zombies.
the one thing I didn't like about that scene was that like when they're about to leave and zombies are coming down the hall, like coming down the well, what would the name for that like little mini hallway be?
Yeah.
And they
I know
back
what you
away
mean.
from the door that they were literally beside.
I know. And then
It's
it
like,
took
you all deserve to get eaten. I friggin' hate you.
yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's the brooding zombie. What's cool about the brooding zombies? They could still freeze. Think about what they wanted to do, though they should have instantly wanted to whack them over the head and get out.
Yeah, run, like grab something like a
Right.
like a front like a desk, push them away from the door, and then.
Well, he did. He took the deer antler, whatever
the
it was.
antelope.
Yeah. So, but I know it was like 15. It was like 10 seconds too long. Like they should have like grabbed the thing right away. But he did it, and they got out.
Yeah, when they flee in the Jeep, and this like is a strong dislike. You hit one zombie with a fucking Jeep. This is a terrain vehicle, and this thing sends you off the road into a tree, which somehow overheats the radiator and wrenches someone's ankle. Not even Resident Evil has a zombie in any of their games with that kind of ability.
I agree. That is a negative.
And then
Well,
Susan-
it gave them a good reason for them to walk back to to make them walk through the palm trees or whatever. I don't know why it's not really. I agree, it's not a logical scene, but maybe it gave him a reason to get them out. It makes it more scary if someone's hurt and they're on foot. Sort of like what was that scene in Walking Dead when they went to I think it was the second season, where he took the heavyset guy and they went to go get the medicine. And then
he fucking leaves him behind.
Yeah, and he leaves him behind.
Shoots him in the leg.
He shoots.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a bastard.
yeah, that was that. Maybe even though the zombies were like equidistant every time they cut. It wasn't like the zombies were gaining on them. He could have easily got him, but whatever. He shot him. He shot him anyway because it just makes a good story, because it's like, oh wow, what a scumbag Shane is. He's gonna shoot him, and leave him to like get eaten by the zombies, and then he's gonna take off and say, I don't know what happened. He didn't make it.
Yeah.
It was a good. Doesn't mean you don't need logic, but Mike is the ultimate king of pointing this out. Wow.
And then Susan screaming bastards gave me a flashback to pieces.
Oh God.
And then when they're in they're in the graveyard, and then we see Webster like clocking the guy with the crucifix, which is a good scene. But then he's like walking around just fine. So apparently, you only need 5 minutes to heal an ankle that got wrenched in a crash and then literally twisted by a hand coming out of the ground.
Yep.
And then another thing that pissed me off is that my note here says Barry Gibb is taking forever to get Wise to shoot them in the head.
Yes.
Oh my God! Yes. How many bullets did that guy waste?
Yeah.
Like how? That really pissed me off.
I think this was early in the zombie lore, because you got to remember it was like you had the Night of the Living Dead, and then what did you have? Nothing really, unless you want to count like Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Did you ever see that?
But no, yeah, but you're right. Like I guess the only thing before that, I mean, was Night of the Living Dead, and I know that Dawn of the Dead had come out the year before this, but I mean, by the time Dawn of the Dead had come out, this movie was already in production.
Right. So like you didn't have, it wasn't like really set in stone.
Yeah,
the zombie
it wasn't a precedent, but the first 3 times you shoot him in the chest,
yes,
and then you shoot him in the head and it works. Then when you shoot the next zombie, you should be like, I have learned from my previous experience, and I will adapt my strategy. Likewise, but no. Even as the barn is on fire, he's still shooting them in the back and the shoulder and the leg. It's like he has not learned. I have killed zombies only when I have shot them in the head. Everything else just absorbs bullets and keeps walking.
Maybe he's just a really bad shot.
Oh yeah, so he's an astute learner, but just terrible aim.
Yeah.
Or maybe he had a lot of bullets that in his pocket. We don't know.
Oh yeah, so it turns out he's not well hung. That is just a bunch of shells in his pocket.
Yeah,
he's not happy to see you.
He's just stuffed his sock with bullets. That's all.
And then another thing that pissed me off was Nurse Useless. I mean, she's this guy's assistant. She has seen this outbreak and the zombie turnaround enough to be wary and fight back, and to finish off like the 3 people that were dead beforehand when the doctor was busy getting guns. Like, she has seen this enough to know, oh well, the doctor's busy, I'll just decapitate these people or crush their skull. No, she just waits for the black guy to get killed and then gets killed by him, which is fitting because she got this man killed with her stupidity. She's a medical assistant. She's aware of this. She should have cleared the bodies or, double tapped them. She absolutely deserved to get killed by the guy she got killed with her stupidity. Like, there are no workplace accidents.
Very clever use of a Zombieland phrase, double tap.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's early in the zombie genre for our generation, so you got to cut them a little slack before it gets,
It is.
I don't think
for people, yeah, but for her, she's seen this.
Yes, true. Yeah. That's true.
Well, every other person could get away with this shock, like, oh my God, Living Dead. Like, there is no precedent, but, her character has seen this, let's say, every friggin' time someone gets brought to the clinic.
Yeah, you're right. I got to give you that one.
And then, the Zombie, as I call him.
The Zombie.
Come on! When he gets bitten, it's like, he sees this, and it's just, again, this reminds me of Cemetery Man. Okay, my lady is a zombie, but maybe she loves me enough to, oh fuck, she bit me, I am so surprised, I could not have stopped this.
Your acerbic wit and your sarcasm is well placed here, because yes, I could say the shocked woman could be stunned, but the man with the gun should be like, okay, at least let me, I don't know, maybe he was in love. I want to err on the side of love. Let's be positive.
You can still blast her head off and still leave her boobs intact. I mean, the best part of her lives for a bit. She's salvageable for a bit, but and then they bring back, and then they just he gets bitten and they bring him onto the boat rather than time to write you off.
Oh, I know.
It's not like we've established that this is a plague where everybody is 100% infected. It's
Well,
like,
they did.
You
They
should
didn't.
you should just dump him in the river and go, thanks for the boat.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they don't. They want,
Just send him off to fight sharks.
Yeah.
He'd like it that
exactly.
way.
I guess they don't. For the audience, I don't know about the characters. Just for the audience, I guess they didn't want to let you know that it was a worldwide plague until they get on the boat and turn on the radio, and the guy's like, saying how Manhattan is infested with
That's
zombies.
what I loved. Like while this whole thing is happening on this island, Zombie Cop has been busy.
Yes.
That would have been like a great sequel to this movie. It's like a side story to what's going on the island. It's like, here's what happened in Manhattan. How did Manhattan fall? I guess it's time for the what the fucks.
Yeah.
And I just wrote down, have you seen millipedes on your piano? No, just crabs on my organ.
Oh my God.
I got
Okay.
nothing for the,
Yeah, me neither. Except
I got nothing for the what the fuck category. That's
Oh, really? I've got a page here, man.
you would have a page. Are you snorting the Adderall?
I was on Ritalin until I was about 13, and then I stopped.
Wow.
Apparently, I shouldn't have.
Wow.
But
Go ahead. I want to let him do the what WTFs, and then we'll comment, because the only what WTF I have is the guy with the gun who doesn't use the gun and gets bit. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, there was. If there was a zombie on the table in the opening credit, why did the headshot not drop it? He gets shot in the head, and then he like turns around and stares at the guy like, "Dude, I'm your fucking friend. That was not cool." Rather than, "My brains have been destroyed. I am collapsing now."
yeah, it's a good point.
Good point.
And then another bit of that spite talk between the coroners is like, take a look at these edges. To me, it's quite obvious what caused it. Like, again, the dubbing on this was so terrible. It just like it's creating this fabricated animosity between the coroner and his assistant.
I don't think it had anything to do. I think it was an Italian scriptwriter who didn't know, who probably watched television and just assumed that these were the stereotypes he had to write in. I don't know. I'm giving a stab, because it really, who looks at a scalpel and goes, wow, this isn't really all that sharp, what do you say? I forget the line. Something.
You should take better care of your instruments or something like that.
Yeah. So, this couldn't cut through tissue paper or something like that. I forget what the line was.
Yeah, like it's the coroner's fucking job to take his tools to a grinding wheel and just be like, well, time to make sure their scalpel's good.
To me, the scalpel looked good, but I was not really paying attention to that. I forgive that as a foreign film, not really knowing American culture to a T.
Foreign to science?
No, just foreign to, like, I don't know. He probably thought, like, okay, the white guy's got to be the boss. I don't know.
And he's got to talk down to the guy constantly. It's like everything he said, whether it was the words or his intonation, it sounded like he hated being him. Like this guy was an affirmative action hire that he opposed. But the decision was made over his head.
Mike,
so you are stuck with it.
You are a comedy writer. You are a comedy writer, right?
I tried doing stand-up, but apparently it's really hard to get people to get on the same page as me. So I just stuck with podcasting.
Because I was gonna say, this is like, how long is this? It's like a 30-second scene, and he's breaking it down.
Yeah.
It's not that long. It's like a minute, not even. I don't know, 45 seconds. I didn't have it. You have it timed out. Can't time it out for me, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, it was about a minute or so. I didn't bother doing timestamps for everything.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's so short. It's like I'm like, he's right, but holy cow, who really cares about this one scene where they were talking about scalpels. Like I totally, like, I wouldn't. When I saw that again, I totally refreshed my memory that I had seen it when I rewatched it. I was like, I didn't remember that. Okay, good. He yelled at him because of the scalpel's not that sharp, or I don't know what was he doing with the scalpel to not make it sharp.
Yeah, like did he hand him a butter knife instead?
I don't know. But
Like that would have been like a nice Igor moment if it turns out like he was making his breakfast, he was making lunch, so he gives him like the butter knife that he has, well, because he was making a sandwich when the body was brought in. Like you could have played that up for effect, and I wouldn't have had a problem with it. It would have been like a young Frankenstein moment.
in a movie where we have nice, pretty women to look at, good zombies, good gore, uh, quality score, you're stuck on 45 seconds of nothing important characters doing what an Italian man who wrote this script, who knows when he wrote the script.
Well, to me, a movie takes like such care to make like every action is deliberate because tape is scarce, timing is everything. So I guess I give everything that same weight. Like everything is deliberate in the movie. So if something doesn't make sense, it's like, what was he aiming for?
I don't know, but I am now in awe of you. First, I ripped you apart for the font. Now I'm in awe of you.
Thank you. You're so kind.
The depth, your breath, the attention to detail, and your sarcasm is just, dead on. For 45 seconds of nothing.
That's why Sheldon puts up with me.
Oh wow, Sheldon. Wow, and you guys were friends. Well, I said use guys. See, that's how you know we've been talking a long time. I mean, how long have you two men been friends? Have been friends?
About 6
Surprisingly,
months.
a short amount of time. It was only like about
Half a year ago.
yeah.
Really?
I had him on my Nintendo Power podcast where we talked about an issue of Nintendo Power front to back because why would I be less than thorough? And he was a real joy to have, and we talked about other things that we're into, and horror movies was just like a big convergence point for our interests. And so he's just like, why don't we do a horror podcast? And I'm just like, yes.
I thought you guys. You again. I said it. Wow. I thought the both of you were long time. Like you grew up together.
We got rapport.
You have rapport, is right.
Yeah, that must be it.
And Sheldon, I don't know how you deal with him on a weekly basis, but I think we got to send Sheldon some sympathy Adderall just to keep up with you. He can't keep up.
A little help from my friends Jack and Johnny.
Yeah. Black.
Yep.
And then I've seen speed bumps before, but this was the first time I saw speed ditches. Like, did you not notice this? When when the reporter and the girl are driving their car around town as they're on their way to the docks, they're driving to the hotel before they go to the docks. There's a sign, like I didn't get to see the sign, but the road has a ditch in it. It's like a speed bump, but it's inverted. Has this ever happened? Like, is this just the first time I've noticed something? Like, do speed ditches exist in America or other parts of Canada?
I don't think so. I never heard of it anyway.
I would just say could just be a pothole where they were shooting. I don't think
it was from one side. It was from one end of the sidewalk to the other, and there were lines on it. It was part of the road. It was intentional.
You're gonna make me watch this movie again.
Well, just watch that scene again, and you can come back to us and like, if anybody is listening to the show knows like whether in Italy, maybe this was just like some European thing where they have speed ditches instead of speed bumps, or was this just like some bizarre island thing? But anyway, like there were lines across it. It was perfectly uniform from one sidewalk to the other. It was part of the street, and it was intentional. And it was just weird. Like you see the car dive when it goes in it. It is like the function of a speed bump, but inverted. Weird.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice either.
All right. Anything else, Mike?
Yeah. Here's something I think that we can talk about or guarantee. The lady who gets zombie attacked or stalked while taking the shower. It's like, if I was on an island where it was clear zombies were a thing, because she mentioned the zombies before when she screamed at him and got slapped, like, this is a thing that they're both aware of. I would have had a buddy system where somebody is always in the house on guard so that nobody could sneak up on my ass in the shower. But, I guess that's what you get for screaming at the guy who's running the show instead of getting on his good side, so he would give you some guards. Also, apparently it turns out having long hair on a zombie island is not such a good idea.
Wow, you've been waiting how many hours to say that? You've been waiting hours to put that one up.
Oh, I wrote it down like 2 days ago, so I've been sitting on that for a while.
Wow, I didn't come prepared for this. And I listened to your podcast. Wow. You should be like an editor or something. Don't let this go to waste. You have a superior talent.
Thank you.
For noticing speed ditches. A 45-second scene that's like nothing. Means nothing.
If any of our audience are aspiring filmmakers or could use these talents for any purposes, I am mostly available.
Oh, wow. You definitely go. If you're a screenwriter, a budding screenwriter, if you have a screenplay written, send it to Mike, because Mike will find all the mistakes and continuity and speed ditches and speed bumps, and he'll give you a whole script back on what to do with your script.
And then another big problem I had, like, what the fuck, was the rise of the conquistadors. It's like 4 centuries later, one, they just come up now, like what triggered this, and second, they're 4 centuries old. Why do they still have skin, ligaments, brains? Shouldn't they be dust? Like, did it take white people walking on their grave to trigger this whole thing?
You have a good point. Again, I don't think Lucio Fulci was thinking that deeply. I think he had a small budget and did the most with what he could do with that budget.
He established that they are the conquistadors. We saw the helmet.
Yeah.
We saw the
I know,
gravestones.
you're right. You're right. It does. They just walk and then all of a sudden they pop up. For what reason? He doesn't
establish why have they not rotted.
I think he reached the midpoint of the third act and he just felt like it was time.
Fuck it.
I don't want
zombies.
Yeah. Let's get zombies. It's called Zombie. Let's get some fucking zombies because I got to go burn some of these fucking zombies later on. So let's get them go. Let's get the zombies rolling already. I gave you boobs. I gave you sharks. I gave you enough stuff already. So let's get to the zombie. I don't know.
I just hope some asshole doesn't pick this movie apart 40 years later.
Yeah.
And finally, when the zombies approach the barn, you see Barry Gibb shooting a shotgun about 4 times.
Just
4
stop
times
with the Barry Gibb.
in 1 second. Like, does he have an automatic shotgun?
Listen, Barry Gibb, for this time frame, he can look like Barry Gibb. Okay, so stop being derogatory
I
towards
forgot
him.
his name.
Yeah, it's okay. You can call him Barry Gibb, but don't use it in a derogatory tone because it still was in the time frame. It isn't like it was like 2006 and he looks like Barry Gibb. Yeah. He's beard appropriate for the time frame.
Oh yeah.
Nope. Nobody was burning their Bee Gees records just yet.
Not yet. No.
But still,
they were staying alive. Okay.
For the most part. But still, he's got an automatic shotgun. Like, you see that thing go off 4 times within the span of 1 second. And then like, despite having just chest shots having no effect before, he now drops 2 in the span of a second with chest shots. This is weird. And then what made me laugh was when they use the Molotov cocktails, they throw 4 bottles and they all set off the very first explosion. They throw a bottle, 1 explosion. They throw the second bottle, no fire, first explosion. They throw the third bottle, no fire, first explosion.
Listen, I'm with Sheldon. Time out. Give him a break. He's just throwing Molotov cocktails at people. He didn't want to get anybody injured, and he didn't want to have any litigation. So, okay, we just pretend. It's your what is it? Suspension of disbelief, Mike.
Oh yeah.
Suspend your disbelief, and there's, let's just call it appropriate amount of flames and Molotov cocktails. Pretend. Pretend. But I'll have to rewatch everything now and look at that and think about. I mean, I was thinking the same thing. You throw in these the Molotov cocktails. It was like, shouldn't this be more than what it is?
Yeah,
Because
shouldn't there be flames by the time he's throwing the fourth bottle?
Yeah, and how many did they throw? You got that stat down?
They threw 4 right away, and that's the only time I wrote notes.
Okay.
I know they threw like several more volleys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was a lot.
One did have fire at that point. Like there was fire, so I didn't bother bitching about that.
I'm invoking the give the filmmaker a break. He had a minimal budget rule. Okay.
Well, perfect timing, because that's my last thing.
Oh, that's your last one after like 57. That's it.
Man, I think I felt like I just did 3 podcasts.
I'm feeling it too, man. This room is hot.
I need a Red Bull the next time I'm on. Holy cow! I'll snort some Adderall and get a case of a Red Bull, and then really watch the movie. Like, take notes, serious notes with timestamps and how many Molotov cocktails were thrown and how many speed ditches there were. Holy cow! I watched this movie probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in my lifetime. I did not notice a speed ditch.
No, that's
Well, what about you guys? Was there anything I missed?
No,
nothing.
No. Are you kidding me?
You should work for our Congress. You could read through thousands of pages and say, okay, boom, here's the cliff notes of this 1,000-page bill.
And it would be entertaining enough that people might listen to it.
And it would be entertaining. I wonder if the rating. You got to let me know. Send me a tweet, Sheldon. I want to know if the ratings went up for this one. Did it go the same? Or I want to know if the people were like, okay, Mike really, really, really broke this movie down, like excessively broke this movie down.
Yeah, if any of the previous comments we've gotten about certain episodes are any indication, I got a feeling I know which way it's going to go.
Oh, okay. I think I agree with you on that one.
We forgot one more thing. My kill of the week.
You think you're getting a kill of the week after talking nonstop for all that time?
It's brief. My kill of the week goes to The Cop. It's the shortest amount of screen time, but it has the most amount of impact on the world, or at least the city of Manhattan. So, it goes to The Cop, who's been very busy off camera.
The borough of Manhattan. It's not a city.
All right, so that's my.
Listen, Mr. Anally retentive. We have 5 boroughs here. We don't have 5 cities.
Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Hell's Kitchen. Is that a borough or just a
No,
neighborhood?
that's a neighborhood, and it's not as the Hell's Kitchen that it used to be. But good.
That's all.
And Staten Island, and Queens. So there's your 5 boroughs.
I need to listen to more Beastie Boys. I should have known that.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You don't say, "Hey, I'm in Manhattan City." I'm in the city of Manhattan.
Yeah, that was a verbal goof. I know that it's not a city.
Well, I finally caught you on. Listen, I don't take Adderall. Okay.
You nailed me. You got me.
I got you once. You got me like about 5,000 times.
It's the Persian flaw.
Yes, it's the Persian flaw, or the Red Bull.
Okay, well, guys, that is Zombie, or Zombie 2, or Island of the Flesh Eaters, or Zombie, or whatever you want to call this movie.
This was zombies plus everything else Mike wanted to talk about. And I feel bad because I said, okay, I'm the guest. I got to talk a little bit. And wow, it's like 3 hours.
It's 2.
No, not for us.
Yeah.
Holy cow! And then when it came time to introduce me, I was done.
That's it. Had nothing else to say.
I know. I
Oh,
think
he only had 45 minutes of extremely interesting banter.
Yeah.
I hit a mental speed
Ditch.
ditch, and I needed a few minutes for my adrenaline to kick in because I didn't know Mike was on 17 Adderalls and 15 Red Bulls.
Yep.
And the best part is I never touch any of that stuff
I
because I
know.
feel like
You're
I'm
like-
stimulated enough.
You're the scary, freaky person that has that natural energy. That's
It's like Salvador Dali. I don't
Yeah,
take
yeah.
drugs. I am drugs.
yes.
Well, I think we're all in agreement that I think it's a three-way agreement that we totally recommend anyone that hasn't seen this movie to check it out.
That was excellent.
Excellent.
And even if you have seen it, watch it again because
Watch it
obviously
again.
there's probably things you missed.
And find
So-
all the things that I just told you about.
I want someone to watch this several times and try to find something that Mike missed
Or that I got wrong.
or that he got. No, I don't care that he got it wrong. I want to see if they could find one grain of sand nugget of information that Mike missed. If you can, when your guys' Patreon grows, you'll get a gift.
So
Yes.
for anyone listening, if you've got anything that you think Mike missed about this movie, or you have any other movie suggestions, or you just want to say hi, or questions, comments, you got a few options. Reach out to us on the old-fashioned way. First of all, send us an email at thegraveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod, or catch us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to the show, you can do so just by going to www.patreon.com/graveyard. All proceeds go to help with the upkeep and promotion of the show. Plus, it gives you access to some very nice Patreon exclusive bonus issues. And if a financial donation is not possible, that's okay, because you can still help us out a ton. First of all, you can go on iTunes and rate, review, subscribe. Honestly, in the long run, that is the best way to support us. That goes the furthest. And if that's not possible, you can just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep listening to the podcast, send us feedback, share us on social media. That's all that's to it. So, Robert, want to thank you, man, for being a guest. You were absolutely awesome.
I'm exhausted, guys. You can find me on Twitter at Rob Christopher. You could find my music on Bandcamp. You could follow me on Facebook if you like. Just look for me there. I really don't
Is it
care.
Rob Christopher or Robert Christopher on Bandcamp?
It's Robert Christopher, but my Twitter is you're limited on the characters for the handle, so it's Rob Christopher on Twitter, and on Bandcamp it's Robert Christopher. If you just want to listen to my stuff, if you can't find it, or if there's another Robert Christopher on there, you could just look for Haunted Sky. You'll find it. It's one of the I don't know if that's one of the tracks you're gonna play. And
Stay tuned for his next album. Shut up, Mike.
Oh no, no.
Oh, that's the name of my autobiography.
And if you want to send feedback to me, just comment on Twitter, because that's the one that I'm probably gonna check.
Okay, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed. Please check out the movie. It is great. Thanks again to our guest, Robert Christopher, for joining us. Fucking hilarious. Had a great time. And before we go, we have to tell you about what we've got coming up next month, because it is almost October.
Woohoo!
October is our favorite month. No surprise there. And we really want to do something special for the Halloween season. Now, a lot of people ask if we're going to be covering any of the Halloween movies during October. And the answer to that is...
Of course.
Actually, the answer is for our regular episodes, no. We will not.
Of course not.
It's not that we don't like the franchise. In fact, the original Halloween is one of my favorite movies. And I don't mean just horror movies, I mean in general. It is fantastic. But the thing is, Halloween is going to be used a lot during October. It's going to be on TV several times. So many movie podcasts and YouTube channels use it for their first Halloween episode. So we want to do something a little different.
It's predictable.
Yes, and we're anything but predictable. Now, as for what we're going to do for October, let's start with our Patreon exclusives. I know we just went on a big spiel about us not doing Halloween for our regular October episodes, but guess what we're going to do for our Patreon page? Any guesses, Mike?
Halloween?
That's right. We are. Halloween 1 and 2, the originals. We are going to do both because really they're one story. Halloween 2 takes place during the same night as the first one, so I always just count it as the same.
And after today's episode, we've got a taste for double-length episodes. We are hooked. Yeah. We are addicted.
It's going to be a long episode, so that's why another reason why it makes sense for the Patreon. But don't you worry, we are going to do... I know a lot of people are going to be disappointed because people that support us, not through Patreon, but just from listening to us every week, they want to hear our thoughts on Halloween, but we're going to do something special with the Halloween movies later on down the road. So don't worry, you're going to get our opinions on it. It's just going to be something a little different. And right now, we're just going to keep Halloween 1 and 2 for the Patreon. And as for Halloween, so yeah, it's going to be our standard format. It's just going to be a Patreon exclusive for now. That's all we're going to say because I don't want to give away what we're going to do for Halloween down the road. So, yeah, it's going to be something a little different, and you'll just have to see when the time comes.
We're keeping Halloween alive for $1.25. We keep it going. We keep it going.
And maybe we'll see how things goes. Maybe if we're feeling particularly generous and time permits, we may do a second Patreon exclusive episode for October for you guys that support us with your money, not just your attention. But we'll keep you informed. So that's our Patreon October plans. And now to the next part. We will be doing a bonus episode called This is Halloween, where Mike and I, along with a few friends, are going to be talking about our favorite parts of Halloween. That's going to include our must-watch Halloween movies, plus our fave Halloween TV show episodes, TV specials, games that we love to play on Halloween, music we like to listen to, books that we think are great to read during Halloween. Basically, we're going to talk about whatever Halloween means to us. And I'm sure you've got a few things to add to that one, Mike. You know, you're going to have lots of stuff to talk about.
Oh, yeah. I love me some horror.
And we might even include some stories of past Halloween antics. You never know, as long as it's not something too incriminating. Okay, so now what you all have been waiting for, probably not, but anyway, here it is. Our October theme this year is Halloween that's not Halloween. That's right. We're going to be covering 4 movies that take place during Halloween but have nothing to do with the Halloween Mike Myers franchise. And Mike, why don't you tell everyone what movies we have in store for them?
From 1982, we have Trick or Treats. From 1986, Trick or Treat. From 2007, Trick or Treat. I wonder if it has something to do with pirates. And from 2003 to cap it all off, Hollow's End.
Ah, you thought there was going to be something else with Trick or Treat, didn't you? Well, we're too smart for that.
I thought it would be Treat or Trick.
But yeah, these the first 3, all 4 movies actually take place during Halloween, and they're all like very different types of movies. So I think it was a pretty good selection. We went through a lot of movies that take place during Halloween, and there's a lot more than we thought. Like, we had no idea there were so many that actually take place on the day of Halloween until we started searching through this. About when, Mike? Like about a month ago, we actually started like making plans for October.
Oh yeah, that was just okay. How many Halloween horror movies are there? Well, there shouldn't be that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so we were very hard pressed to try to figure out which ones we were going to use. But we thought it would be nice to get all the ones that involved the words trick or treat, use those, and then end it off with Hollow's End. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it. We think it's going to be great. Some of these movies I'm already familiar with. Some I have not seen before. So I think there's going to be quite the variety of opinions on these. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. I cannot wait to start talking about them, and I cannot wait for October. This is going to be great. And to top it off, to kick off our Halloween season, for our very first episode in October, we're going to be announcing the winner of our Funko Pop Pennywise giveaway. So listen for that, and we are going to pick the winner. We're going to just put everybody that's entered into the contest. So you still have a little while to go, because we're not going to be announcing the winner until October 2nd. But while we're recording, we are going to take everyone's name that entered the giveaway, and we're going to choose a winner right during the episode. So have a listen for that.
Yep. So before Halloween even shows up, somebody gets a treat, and that's no trick.
Nice one. So yeah, guys, that is our plans for Halloween, and that is our episode. So thank you again for joining us. Yeah, like we said, we really need to divide this one up into two parts, because there was just so much. Holy crap.
We didn't want you to get a tummy ache.
Yeah, really. If you are a Patreon sponsor, check out the uncut extended episode. Just for it's a Patreon exclusive, so you can listen to the whole thing. You can listen to Robert tear Mike a new one about his opinion of The Shining, and it is fantastic. So, guys, thank you so much. Looking forward to you joining us again for October. Until then, I'm Sheldon,
And I'm Mike.
and see you again on the Graveyard Shift.
I don't know if Mike wants to have me on as a guest on his Nintendo. What is it, Nintendo?
Nintendo Power. We read Nintendo Power magazine, so I could send you a copy, and then we'll talk about it on the show. Oh yeah, if you want to show up on if you want to put my other two co-hosts through this type of verbal marathon, that would be an absolute blast.
Oh well, yeah, definitely. But let's.
I'll give you a refractory period first.
It's my genetics is saying, please, it's enough. You can't compete with Adderall Red Bull man. He's the king.
Adderall Red Bull free man.
I really thought that I would have to fill time, and no, I really didn't. You've got like 3 weeks of podcast here, and there was 45 minutes that we didn't record. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, this was good. This was great. This was fun. I enjoyed every minute of it, except for Mike being a little anally retentive on some small, tiny, insignificant aspects. But it was I really appreciate the invite to your podcast, and I think we're pretty good together. Wow. We did.
Yeah, definitely. I had a great time.
This was great. I like this a lot, and hopefully next time we could stay on topic.
Well, we can
Oh,
always try.
we could always try. Boy, you're gonna have some fun editing this.